All right, let's just get right into it. The whole world of video hosting, it's completely different now. And if your server is still playing by the old rules, you are about to hit a massive wall. So today, we're going to look at what you actually need to survive in 2026. You know that thing that happens, right? You upload one single, beautiful 4K video to a site like YouTube, and then somehow it's instantly available in 1080p, 720p, even that super grainy 240p for somebody on a really bad connection. How does that even happen? Well, it's not magic, not at all. It's actually this incredibly powerful piece of open source software that pretty much runs the entire video internet. So let's pull back the curtain. I want you to meet FFmpeg. It's got no fancy interface, no marketing team, but it is, without a doubt, the engine under the hood of almost everything you watch online. Its entire job is to take one video file and transform it into another. That process, it's called transcoding. And this is just a brilliant example of its power. That totally seamless experience you get on YouTube, yeah, that's FFmpeg chugging away in the background, creating all those different versions so that literally anyone on any device can just press play and it works. But here's where things get really, really interesting. The demands that we're putting on this engine, they have absolutely exploded. The video landscape of 2026 is putting FFmpeg under pressures it has just never seen before. Okay, first up, the sheer volume of short-form video is just staggering. And we're not just talking about more videos. We're talking about very specific technical needs, right? Like vertical encoding to fit our phone screens for shorts and real-time transcoding for things like Twitch streams. And let's talk scale for a second. 70 billion. Just let that sink in. That's the number of views that YouTube Shorts alone gets every single day. And every single one of those views depends on this kind of heavy processing. So at the exact same time, our expectations for quality have just gone through the roof. I mean, 4K is the new normal, right? And that requires these sophisticated delivery methods like HLS and Dash. These are just technologies that break video into small chunks to make sure you get a smooth, buffer-free experience without trying to serve a gigantic file to everybody. But the biggest shift, the one that's creating a brand new bottleneck that no one saw coming, is the rise of AI-generated video. We're talking about tools like Sora, Runway, and Pika. And this changes absolutely everything for video creators and how they host their content. Now, this is the critical insight for anyone working with video today. AI has this hidden dependency, and if you don't account for it, it can bring your entire workflow to a screeching halt. This is the part of the process that most guides just completely miss. See, when an AI tool generates a video for you, its job is not done. In fact, you could argue the hardest part is just about to start. Just look at this workflow. The AI spits out this raw, super high bitrate file, but that file, it's completely useless for the web. So here's the crucial point, step 3. It has to go through an FFmpeg processing pipeline to get compressed, formatted, and packaged up for your audience. This right here is the new reality. With creators generating AI clips over and over, servers are being slammed with these intense, CPU-hungry FFmpeg jobs constantly. If your hosting isn't built for that sustained load, your entire creative pipeline just stops dead in its tracks. So what's the solution? How do you actually make sure your server is ready for this? Let's walk through a simple, actionable checklist for what modern FFM hosting really looks like. Okay, first and foremost, this is absolutely non-negotiable. FFmpeg has to be pre-installed and ready to go. A lot of hosts will say they support it, which usually means you have to compile it yourself. That's not good enough anymore. You need the right codecs, like libx264 and libx265, which are the standard for modern web video, working from day one. Next up, performance. Transcoding video absolutely hammers the CPU, so you need dedicated resources, not some shared pool where you're fighting with other people. You also need native support for HLS and Dash streaming. You need storage that can scale for those massive 4K files. And honestly, you should have a potential upgrade path to GPU acceleration for the really heavy AI workloads. And finally, here are the pro features. Can your host handle sustained high CPU jobs without throttling you? And this is a big one, does it give you a dedicated IP address? This is so critical for avoiding what's called the bad neighbor effect, where another site on your shared IP gets blacklisted and tanks your server's reputation right along with it. So all this inevitably leads to the big question. Should you self-host this whole setup or just use some cloud transcoding service? Well, the answer really comes down to some pretty simple math. This slide really lays out the comparison clearly. Cloud services, they look easy with that pay-per-minute billing, right? But you sacrifice control, you add latency, and you totally lose out on things like a dedicated IP. Self-hosting, on the other hand, it gives you a fixed cost and total control over your entire video pipeline. And here's the bottom line. It all comes down to a really clear break-even point. If you find yourself processing more than, say, a couple thousand minutes of video a month, which is super easy to do with AI tools, a dedicated, self-hosted solution almost always becomes the cheaper option. You know, this quote from Matt Trust at AHosting really just nails it. You need a host that sees video processing not as some little feature to check off a list, but as the core, primary workload that the server is actually designed to handle from the ground up. Okay, so let's bring all this together. The demands on our video infrastructure have fundamentally shifted. The question you've got to ask yourself is simple. Is your server actually ready for what's coming next? It really just boils down to these four things. If your host gives you pre-installed FFmpeg, dedicated CPU power, proper adaptive streaming support, and a dedicated IP address, you have a solid foundation for the modern video world. If any one of these is missing, you've got a bottleneck just waiting to happen. So the final thought I'll leave you with is this. The way we create and deliver video has evolved dramatically, and it's being driven by AI and much higher audience expectations. The most crucial point is to make sure the engine powering it all has evolved too. Has yours?